Hello there, this is CAN Kenan from Kenan Plays, and today we're going to play part 9 of Burokku Girls, which means Block Girls. Alright, let's just continue. And part 9, right? Yes, that's correct, let's just click here. 8 parts in total, this part 9. Alright, so Zen said if you wish for him to be allowed to stay, then I won't argue anymore about it. Yes, Zen, just shut up, man. You know what, the boss has already spoken. Still, I recommend that we should keep an eye on him. No, it's okay. Noted. However, as you yourself have already pointed out on many occasions, we have more important things to worry about than a lone traveler whose only crime is to wind up caught in the crossfire of this horrid world. As for you, Taki, I've bid you welcome to Keihei village and apologize for the lack of hospitality you have been shown so far. Oh, I understand. I saw what the underworlders can do, so my voice trailing off, I struck helplessly, unable to find words to fit the horrors I had already seen, but somehow words were necessary as Liana's own expression saddened. I see. Taki, I don't know what brought you to our lands, and in all honesty, I don't have time to wonder about such matters. All I can say is that I regret you arrived in our darkest time. Given Liana a look of sympathy, I sighed before rising to my feet. Look, I know about what's happening here, and I would like to help you if you let me. I appreciate that, but I do have to be honest with you. This war is going very badly for us, and it's only a matter of time before it arrives at our very gate. So there was an ugly, painful silence in the wake of Liana's words failing her, and I dreaded to think of what kind of burden she was forced to bear up under. But even as I wondered what was going on through her mind, she managed a tiny smile. Still, we could use all the help we can get through Asahi. Yes, you seem to trust Taki a great deal, and given that he brought you back to us, I think it's only fitting that you take care of him during his stay in Keihei village. So please show him around our village and show him where the armor is. At the very least, he should be able to manage a simple sword and shield. At this, Asahi managed the broadest smile I have seen from her thus far. And as we exchanged glances, it grew broader still. Until her mouth split open. As for me, well, I wasn't that confident as to how we'll be able to use a sword or shield. I used them in games in the past, but that had amounted to pressing a few buttons. Not exactly swing a sword or block with a shield. But at the same time, I wasn't exactly eager to get into a fight with the underworld forces. I like the idea of facing them completely unarmed. Even less. Whoa, here she comes. Yeah, that's the spirit, says Dawn. As Dawn again came behind us, I found one of her arms draped on my shoulder, with a quick look of revealing that the bunny girl's other arm was about Asahi's shoulder. The underworlders might have us down, but we aren't out. True, we won't be out until every last of us is turned into the darkness. And even if that happens, well, I'm not gonna give them the satisfaction of wallowing around acting all boo-hoo weepy. And I hope none of you plan on doing that either. Deciding that maybe there was more to Dawn's personality than just wanting to get the entire world into bed with her, I noted that Liana was managing a smile of her own. Well, 3 pretty ladies. That's a good attitude to have. Let's hope we can keep it up in days to come. I've to get back to work now, see if we can find better ways of defending ourselves before underworlders turn their sights on us. In the meantime, I'll let you enjoy your lives as best as you can, and prepare in any way you see fit. Of course, and Liana? Thank you. There was a moment as Liana looked at us before a faint smile appeared on her. I don't know if there's anything to actually thank me for, but you're welcome. Zen, let's go. Come on, little puppy. You know what, guys? Actually, it's great that the underworld are taking over, right? Because you are the hero, right? You know what? If everything is peaceful and fun, everyone love each other, then you won't be. There isn't really a story, right? You know. And I suppose you are the hero. Even you should know by now, Taki. You know what? You should know that you are supposed to save the world because you're sent here. You know. You are playing the game, you're the main character, so you're supposed to save the world, right? After Liana and the others departed, I spent the rest of my day with Asahi and Dawn, both recovering from everything the archer and I had been through the day before, and allowing myself to be led around Keihei village. Basically taking all the sights and seeing the locals, and being painfully aware of the fact that every guard in town seemed to be keeping an eye on me. Whoa, the armory has a lot of stuff, I think. And while I did my best to ignore them and focus on more immediate concerns, I still feel like I had several sets of eyes burning into the back pretty much the entire time as the girls did their best to outfit me for the fight that was to come. Well, if I'm him, I most probably take the bow or this sword, you know, or something like that, you know. I prefer to fight in range usually when I'm not sure about the scenario, right? You know, less chances of dying. Hey, here you go. I know these are much, but I do hope they'll keep you safe in the fight to come. Yeah. As I said this, I looked at the sword and shield I now held. Now I've seen plenty of these in fantasy genre games movies, so when I had mentioned that I would be getting a sword and shield, I hadn't expected something really cool looking, or at least something that looked like it would be useful in battle. However, the sword Asahi had managed to get for me looked like it had spent a few years being used to bash rocks. As for the shield, it was made out of wood and it looked like it had gotten warped after spending too much time in the rain. You know what, Taki? Usually when you start from level 1, you get the worst equipment, right? So you should understand by now, especially this is a game, right? As I continued to study weapons I had been handed, Asahi and Dawn took note of my unhappy expression. I'm sorry, but before this war, we never had any real need for weapons other than hunting. Most of the time, we would use them for practice and sports fight, nothing serious at all. And since the guard got the first pick of all the good weapons, yeah, we don't exactly have much left for anyone else, so sorry about that. Then what about all these weapons behind? Hello about these weapons behind? It's okay. I'm not sure I'll be able to use these. Oh, you know what, Taki is slowly forgetting that he's in the gaming world. I mean, I never even held a real sword or shield in my entire life. Well, if that makes you feel any better, then you probably aren't any worse than most of us who were when this war started. Alright, we had to learn quickly. Listen, I'm not at my best with a sword or shield, but I did practice with them for sport fight. So if you like, I could show you a few things on how to handle them. Unless you're too mature to accept a help from a frail little girl like Asahi. Round groaned. I'm probably about the last macho guy you're gonna meet in your entire life. Besides, I need to learn how to, play this game. At least not to be a completely load for the rest of you. Even as Asahi was shooting a poisonous glare at Dawn, she then returned her attention to me. With a faint smile on her lips, she came up to me, placed a comforting hand upon my shoulder. I was nothing but a burden to you the entire time we were together yesterday. Helping you learn to fight for yourself is no burden for me. Now, let me get a sword and a shield and we can get started. Nodding to this, I stood there and waited as Asahi retrieved an even cruder sword and shield for her to use. And from there, she began teaching me the basics of swordplay, and we wounded up, spending the next few hours on those basic lessons. Now I knew a bunch of stuff I had learned about swordsmanship from movies, and video game was at the very least exaggerated, with a greater focus on making fight scenes look cool than how effective such tactics would be in battle. But luckily, certain tactical aspects of fighting was translated well enough into the game I had played for me to make sense of a few basics. Another thing working in my favor was I had never been in a position of being confronted by an actual sword. The motion of having someone flashing a sword in the face or something I was well used to, even though the person doing said flashing had always been on the other side of a television screen. Don't really understand that. So I was already used to the idea of being in that position and didn't panic, at least not as badly as some might have. And even though we spent more than a few hours at it, I was able to tell I was, well, not hopeless as I would have expected. Not bad for a beginner, you've got some pretty good moves. Well, Asahi has some pretty good moves too. I was a little too winded from our exercise to respond, and to be honest, I was coping with another distraction. For Asahi had clearly pushed herself and her body, now cloaked with a slick layer of perspiration, was droplets of rolling and pising down into the crevices of her cleavage, from her head, and so on. And as her breast heaved up and down with every deep breath she took, I found it nearly impossible to keep my eyes away from her exquisite mouths of feminine flesh. Almost as impossible as it was to keep my thoughts innocent. You know what? The two most common words that appears in this whole entire game is feminine flesh. So, as I just managed to nod and tried to focus on something incredibly interesting, laundry that was hanging from a village clothesline, only for a surprise swap from Asahi to prompt me to return my attention to her. Whoa! I hope I print screen in time. At which my eyes popped out of the socket at the sight of Dawn standing right behind the archer, with the bunny girl holding up Asahi's breast and smirking wickedly. Oh, is someone feeling some excitement for her new student? Dawn! For a moment I considered helping Asahi out, but when I realized that given my track record since coming to Burokku, there was absolutely no way I could get involved with this not somehow make things worse. B. Avoid having my hands, face and both wind up in someone else's cleavage or somewhere else they ought not to go. Or C. All of the above. Or D. Even worse. So I just stood there feeling more than a bit flustered as Asahi shook free of Dawn's grabs. With her breast seeming to dance in relief at being freed from the bunny girl's clutches. Not now! Why not? After all, never put off till tomorrow what you can do today, especially when tomorrow might never come. True? Asahi still looked annoyed, but at the same time I found myself wondering if perhaps the reason Dawn did such things was because she was trying to distract herself from the reality of the war they were fighting and losing. Or if she was trying to distract others, similarly trying to raise people's spirit. And speaking of which, isn't it time you and your new boyfriend made it official? You know, if your home isn't big enough, you can come over to my place. Heck, we could even make it a threesome! Then again, maybe she's just the biggest sex maniac in the known universe? No, maybe not. I think Candy is the worst, if you guys still remember who Candy is. Bruh. Anyway, Taki, we've trained enough for a while. Why don't we take a break and get something to eat away from Dawn? Sounds good. Without another word, Asahi took my hand and started leading the way. But while Dawn didn't make any moves to stop us, she did smirk in that teasing manner of hers. Okay, you two, be sure to have fun on your date. It's not a date. With a face filled with scarlet, Asahi led me away, not even looking at the still smoking Dawn. Well, Once lunch was done, Asahi and I did our best to rest over and recover, with the archer once more leading me around as we did our best to help with some of the chores, talking with the locals. Basically, we did whatever was considered normal life in Burokku, all the while preparing for the inevitable battle to come. One of my least favorite things in a video game has always been the time mission. Basically, having to complete a certain goal before the time ran out, and I got an automatically game over. True, same, me too. Usually, if there's a time mission, right, the first time you did it, the first time you do it, you will usually fail, right, in games. I've always hated those things with passion, and right now I found myself feeling like I was on a time mission at that very minute. Only it was that much worse for me for several reasons. One was the fact that I had no clear mission objectives to accomplish. The second was the fact that I had no idea as to what the time limit on the mission was. Just that it probably wouldn't be long before that time limit expired, and when that happened, game over. This would be bad in the video game, but in the situation I was in, whether because of a malfunctioning VR machine or something else entirely, I couldn't help but fear that game was over. Really could be game over. Yeah, he might even die, right? In Sword Art Online, similar to this game, is anime. You know, if you die in the game, you really die in real life. But as Asahi guided me through whatever needed to be taken care of, or whatever she wanted to do, I spotted Liana moving through the village along with a number of guards, and make certain that we have plenty of arrows available just in case. We don't know how much we have. And oh, Asahi, Liana, Zen, what's going on? Just going over some precaution in case of an attack. Hello, Taki. Hi. So, getting ready for the underworlders, huh? Just how long do we have before? There's no way for us to know. We don't dare to send any scouts to investigate when we need every fighter we have here and at the ready. All we can do is be sure of is that they will come for us here sooner or later if we have any chance of survival. Then, whoops, obviously, Liana would always fall over. Liana had started towards me and Asahi only to trip on apparent nothing and was staggering towards me. She crashed into me, and before I could move, you know what, the two family flash would land on Takishi's face again, and the two of us fell to the ground. And as long since before a trench since my arrival in Burokku, my face naturally wounded up, lodged squarely between her ample breasts. I don't believe this. Could their breasts have some kind of magnet in them? Is that it? Nope. I think Candy programmed it that every time when Liana meets the main character, right, she will fall over and her breast will just scratch on his face or something like that. It's like a program, it's written already. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Hurriedly scrambling up, Liana gave me an apologetic look as Zen and Asahi helped her back onto her feet. Once that was done and the village leader was dusting herself off, Asahi turned to assist me as well. I'm just so nervous these days. Every time something happens, I feel like I'm about to jump out of my skin, and then you're gonna hate what is coming your way. The instant this voice heard, we jumped in surprise, but unsurprisingly, the one who was most startled was Liana, who again stumbled forward. Alright guys, I think we will stop soon before I reach the 20 minutes mark. Alright, we will learn what is going to happen and why did the music change, you know, and in the next part. Alright, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next part. Goodbye. Whoa. Did you get scared? Well, subscribe to my channel and I promise you, you'll never get scared again. Or watch more videos and you will be able to find your peace in life.